Welcome everybody back to F1RL. It's your boy, the one and only Will Manu, three-time champion of F1RL. We're here with the Icon Series here today. Let me make sure everything is good. It is good, cool. We're here with the Icon Series. Hoping to see some clean racing. Singapore has been the mystery track selected for today. A lot of these drivers will be unprepared. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top. But yeah, I'm just going to make an early prediction here. I'm going to go ahead and say that... Ooh, there's a couple names here I haven't seen race in a while. Unknown Soul, one of my former teammates back in, I believe, season 2? Might have been season 1. I don't fully remember. But Soul, I'm hoping that Soul gets in the top 10. Maybe even the top 5. We've got a 20-man grid here today. It's going to be tough for our drivers out on track. So I'm just hopeful we'll see some clean racing. I'm going to do a prediction that Smithy, he's going to crash out at some point early in, I believe. Just an early prediction. I'm going to say Viper goes ahead and wins the Singapore Grand Prix in the Icon Series. But then again, I could be wrong. Who knows? Let's go through our grid. So we do have Soul, Unknown Soul, in an Alfa Romeo. Hellfire in a Ferrari. Hoffers in an Alfa Tauri. Logan Birch, Shed Racing Newbie in the Merc. Latifi in the McLaren. I don't know why I'm struggling so much. I can't think at the moment. Lewis in the Williams. Papa Verus in the Ferrari. Farrell in the Williams. Dilb in the McLaren. Parallel Harry in the Red Bull. And I think that might be him going out on track there. Nova in the Alpine here. AMS Yisbrands. I'm just going to call him the AMS Aston Martin driver. Then we have Ali, or DZ Ali. Is it Deli Ali? Not too sure. In the Haas. Pencil up nose in the other Alpha that is now actually coming out onto track to start the first out lap. Night out in the other Alpine. Andy Moore. What a driver in the Red Bull. Smithy in the Mercedes. Also out on a out lap now. Snoo in an Alpha Tauri. And Viper in a Haas. And TTLR Neo in the last Aston Martin seat. Let's go on board with Hoffers here. As we watch the outlap from the Alpha Tauri's point of view. I keep going to say the Red Bull Cash App because that's what it's now known as. But it's still the Alpha Tauri on F123. Some would say Team 8. But here, still the Alpha Tauri. On board now with a Williams driver by the name of Farrell. Season 1 champion. What a driver. In an amazing car. Smithy, of course, still on outlap as well. Coming towards the end of it, though. So we will see a couple laps coming in now from some of these drivers. Let's get the timing sheets up. Here we go. Okay, now so Smithy into sector 1. Looking clean so far. Very stable. No sliding yet. Purple sector 1 for Smithy. Well, here as well, let's swap it to the Ferrari, as that is a slide there and an invalidation. Back on board with Smithy now. A little bit wide there in that sector, going in towards the underneath of the bridge. But it's still clean, close to track limits that keeps it on the track. Andy Moore goes provisional pole after having his outlap complete. Now it's going to be Smithy to the line. What will it be? A 1:28.4. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Latifi invalids on that first lap as well. A couple drivers still in the pits here. Let's go on board with the Aston Martin AMS driver. And that is very wide, and that is invalid. Not a great start. What's Parallel Harry doing though? In the slipstream for most of this. It's going to be a P2. 3.5 tenths away from that pole position. Not too bad of a lap. Sol's going to be invalid for that first lap out. Papaverou's still invalid. As I'm struggling to press the right buttons. Here we go, on board with a Mercedes driver. Shed Racing newbie. What can he do? Plays it very close to the wall there, but takes it nicely. Avoiding the wall. Not by much, but by enough. In towards sector 2 now, around Singapore. Shed keeps it clean, keeps it fast flowing. A little bit of a slide there. And I think that's him abandoned his lap. It is. Shed Racing newbie, yet again, lives up to that status of newbie. Papaverou's 3% battery and a dream. Yellow flags in sector 1, 2 and 3. That is going to be Sol allowing the position to go past. Trying not to impede. Very good driving there. I think that's Papaverou's again. Abandoning another lap. The Ferrari driver not having a good time around this track so far. Shed sets a 1:53. With not a lot of battery left in his car for a lap here. But he's going to push on for it. Just to set a banker here. Purple sector 1 for Shed. So he does have a little bit of pace here. Mr. L81 Rich. Very nicely done on the brakes there from the Mercedes man. Keeps it in the track limits as well. This might be a good lap for Shed, but the battery, I think, isn't going to go his way. That is a Ferrari driver off the track in the runoff. I think that might be Hellfire. And Shed's going to go into the pits here as well. Hellfire now into the pits after having that mistake in the runoff area. Soul still invalid. This is a man that is good on his day. Cleanest racer on track from my experience. Bruce has just stated broke his front wing on a fast lap and it was good. That is very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. There is still time left in the session to set a good lap, so he has got the time on his side. Night Owl. Haven't mentioned him yet, but very fast driver. Looks to be upshifting a little bit too early. But now is still currently sat inside that top 5. Smithy yet to be touched here by any driver out on track. McLaren doing a good job there, avoiding any impeding there. Allowing the likes of the Alfa Romeo, the Alpine, and potentially now the Ferrari to pass as well. However, I believe both Ferraris are on their outlaps here. That is Night Owl going slowly. Backed out that lap. And AMS Yulbrand has stuck it on pole. That was a lap I didn't expect to see. 128.344 now for the provisional pole. What can Smithy do to counteract this? Will he go out of the pits? Will he be happy with that second place, second on that front row grid going in towards the race? I'm unsure. Paolo Harry though, on a lap. Currently sat in P3. Can he find 4 temps in this track? The Red Bull driver pushing on. In towards Sector 2. A little bit early on the brakes there. This Red Bull driver has some pace going in towards Sector 3 with a split of 1 minute 3 seconds. That is 4 temps faster, but he's invalidated it in first corner of Sector 3. It's a killer. Track limits are a pain, but Pencil up knows. Low on fuel, on a fast lap. What can he do? Or is that saving battery? Never mind, that is on a in-lap. Sanu, not got a lot of battery there. Dilb, a lot of cars out on track here. The Williams of Lewis Buffin, I believe that is. Going kind of slow here. getting out of car's way, being a very good sportsmanship driver. Of course, sportsmanship is a must-have here in driving. Smithy, though, on an outlap now. Did he go a little bit early for that outlap? Not too sure. Battery is now turned on. Pharrell has left the session. Let's see if we can invite Pharrell back quickly. Viper saying he got brake checked out of the pits. Hopefully that didn't happen. If it was, clip it, send it in. Stewards will do something about it. Smithy, though, into Sector 1. End of Sector 1. Will it be purple? It is purple, of course. Being helped along by the Merc teammate on an invalid lap. The Merc teammate spins, sliding all over the place. This is Dirty Air Central. Shed probably wants to get out of the way. Has got out of the way. He's done a George Russell. As the crowd cheers. Smithy, though. The crowd might be cheering. But it's not a purple Sector 2. Still 1/10 up. A good chance of solidifying this lead. This pole position. The extra 2 points, I believe. Let's see. To the line now. Smithy crosses. It is going to be purple. 28.158. What can the Aston Martin AMS driver do, though? Here he comes. AMS Aston Martin driver has a little bit of traffic ahead, but a little bit of slipstream down this straight. 2/10 up. The power of the slipstream here. This is looking like a pole lap. Not quite a purple Sector 1 though. In towards Sector 3. Will it be a purple Sector 2? It is a purple Sector 2. Track limits can be a pain on this corner. And he's got it just about right. Around the penultimate corner and around the final bend. That is a front wing in the wall. And a tyre off the car. I did not expect to see that there from the Aston Martin driver. Paolo Harry 1/10 up. 30 seconds left of the session. A lot of these drivers might not make it into the last lap here. But I think a lot of them have. Can Hellfire make it though? 9 seconds. I don't think he will. Hellfire misses out on another lap. It looks to be P3 or P13 even. Unless Andy Moore, Papa Vruz, Neo and Viper can definitely change that. Here we go. Paolo Harry, 3/10 up. Now to cross the line. Sticks it P2. What can Pencil do? Not quite a tenth up now. He's going to need to find a little bit more time in that. Neo. 1 minute 4 middle sector. Split. That's not too bad. Going now in towards the penultimate corner. Neo will now cross the line. What can Neo set? It's going to be a P10 for Neo here. Pencil, followed closely by the Ferrari. Pencil, P5. Ferrari, P19. One man on track left. It's going to be Andy Moore. And he is now into the pits. Well, that's going to be our qualifying session now for Singapore. Icon Series Round 5. It's looking very interesting. It's looking very interesting now. Smithy takes pole. Paolo Harry takes P2. AMS Yilbrand in P3. Of course, if there was any unfair impeding or any unfair moves made under qualifying, please do clip them and report them to the stewards. But here is how our grid lines up. Smithy is on pole. Paolo Harry comes in on that front row as well in P2. AMS Yilbrand, the Aston Martin AMS driver, in P3. Snoo in P4. Mr. L81 Rich Shed Racer Newbie in P5. Pencil P6. Night Owl P7. Viper P8. Hoffers P9. Dill P10. Deli Alley or Deez Alley in P11. Neo P13. No, Neo P12. Latifi P13. Lewis Buffer P14. Hellfire P15. Honored Soul P16. Nova 17. Andy Moore 18. Echo. It's not Echo Varuse anymore, is it? It's something else Varuse in P19. And I didn't quite catch the last driver. Papa Varuse. There we go. Not quite Echo Varuse anymore. Now Papa Varuse. Little change of a team there, potentially. But it'd be nice to see some clean racing here. So let's keep it clean through the first few laps at least here. All drivers are out on track, picking their strategies, picking their tyre strategies. Me personally, I would have gone a soft strategy here. That is for sure. Starting on those soft tyres, making my way through that pack, then probably ended up going onto the hard tyres till the end. Maybe hit a medium stint depending on if a safety car hit. But it'll be interesting to see what all the drivers out on track do. I see hards, I see mediums. I think I see softs. And I think the drivers are gone. The drivers have gone. It's light out and the way they go. Smithy leads in towards turn 1 still. A little bit of wheel bashing there between the Aston Martin AMS driver and the Mercedes driver of Shed. Never mind, it's the Snoo, the AlphaTauri. There is a car around that is going to be pencil up nose in the wall. Safety car is going to come out. I'm unsure what happened there. I'm unsure what happened. Let's check it out in the race director real quick. So it looks to be that we have seen a collision with Pencil up nose there from Night Owl. Night Owl also colliding with Pencil, and Shed as well colliding with Night Owl. Could it have been a knock-on effect? 1, 2, 3. 3 drivers involved, 1 in the wall, and luckily still in with a chance of winning this race. But I believe there is no front wing on that car, and that is going to have to be a pit stop. If I was Pencil here, I'd be straight onto the medium tyres. However, he started on the mediums, so I'd maybe run into the softs. sauce for a few laps. Wouldn't be too bad. Smithy leads. Anyway, let's have a little look to see if anyone did manage to make an overtake here in towards. There are a couple. So here are our position changes after that 3 or 4 corner stretch of this Grand Prix. We have had Viper go up 2 positions here, Dilb up 2 positions. The Williams driver of Lose Buffon in up 3 positions. Unknown Soul up 4 positions. A couple losers here out on positions. Pencil down 13, of course, after having a collision. Papa Varuz down 1. In the pits as well. Interesting decision there. But a lot of drivers out on track gaining positions. The top 5 though remains untouched. Top 5 is still the same order as it once was when we started. Paolo Harry needs to get a good restart here off the safety car to hopefully try and jump Smithy. Smithy is of course a fast racer. One of the fastest, if not the fastest driver out on track right now. Here we are then. We are, I believe, 1 safety car lap away from racing. So I'm going to leave with a few cinematics of what car shall we do this time. Let's try a little bit of a McLaren on Dilb. Up 2 positions so far, having a good race. Loving the helmet design. Let's have a couple cinematics on Dilb then, while we wait for the safety car to go in. Here we are then. We're going to get, I believe, 27 laps of racing here. And of course, unless there is more safety cars in the future. Because I'm going to have a lovely sip of my Strongbow Dark Fruits. Very nice. Yeah, hopefully drivers keep it cleaner. The less safety cars, the better. Some would say. I know I would definitely say anyway. But let's ride on board with the race leader here. Safety car in this lap. Only 2 drivers to make stops so far. We'll keep that on screen as well. For a little bit, a couple laps that is, to see if any other drivers are going to chance making a stop, an early stop into this Grand Prix at least. Let's actually double check the tyre strategies as well while I'm here. 2 drivers on the soft tyres. Interesting. Here we go though. Smithy leads in towards the first corner here. That is an AlphaTauri in the wall of Hoffers. A little bit of front wing damage there by the looks of it. A little bit of battling here, there and everywhere on this first lap of the safety car. Down here is all about straight line speed in towards sector 1. And that McLaren is all over the back there of that Mercedes. The Haas of PRF1 Viper getting away nicely from the Mercedes now and going ahead of the Mercedes as well. A little bit of balance towards the back here as well between Nova and Latifi. Of course, Nova defending brilliantly there on the brand new medium tyres. 3 laps old. Not quite brand new, but you get the point. That is going to be Pence Nose retiring, and that is going to be another safety car now. I didn't see anyone near him on track, so I think he might have missed his braking point into a wall. So now, who will chance making an early pit stop? I think, honestly, the soft runners should make a pit stop here onto mediums, but I could be wrong. If they do decide to do it, fair play to them. If not, fair play to them. Let's see who is in the pits, and if anyone is in the pits. There is going to be one driver, Hoffers. I think that is for wing damage, though. Let's just double check. Riding on board with Hoffers into the pits now. This is very exciting action. And it is going to be a front wing change here for Hoffers. And a tyre change onto the soft tyres. Well, we now await another restart of this Grand Prix. So far, there has only been, I don't think there's even been a single lap completed under racing conditions so far. It's always been a safety car within the first few corners. I believe that was the furthest we've actually been around this track without a safety car so far here today. Entering sector 3, and then the safety car hit or came out after Pencil Up Nose was in the wall in sector 2. So far we've completed about 70% of one lap under racing conditions, if I'm correct. So now we're left with more cinematics, I guess, of the cars around. We have had 3 drivers pit for new tyres. And one of them, coincidentally, is now out of this race. So in terms of pit stop and net positions, the order is how it is. I don't see those that have pit getting a massive advantage so far. There's going to be Night Owl in the pits now. A bit late to go into the pits there. But he's in for inters. Night Owl has done this many a time. Called the wet weather before it happens. Could this be a game glitch, or could this be him making another masterclass strategy? He's on the inters. I can't quite see if any clouds are grey in the sky. Of course, it is night time. So I'm just going to have to trust my gut here and say that that means rain is on its way. Now, could any driver inform me under safety car conditions if rain is on the way? Because if not, that could be a serious mistake there that potentially costs Night Out a lot of positions. If rain, of course, isn't on the way. Just going to go into some of these things. Gonna try and figure out if it's gonna rain here. But now I'm on intermediate tyres. It's very early to go onto intermediate tyres if it is gonna rain. Very early. The safety car should be in this lap, hopefully. It has gone in. And they're away. Once again, can we get one lap of racing in? A little bit of position change here. Viper passes one. Yellow flag out on track. Farrell is around by the looks of it. He is moving though, so that is good to see. Another yellow flag out on track now. That's a McLaren of Latifi. Both cars look to be damage free. The Ferrari also damage free. Night Out. Intermediate tyres on a dry track currently. A little bit of front wing going off of a car there. I'm not too sure whose car that was in this train here between P10, 11, 12, 13 and 14. But the Ferrari is losing out on a couple of positions here. So maybe it's the front left end plate there of Hellfire's Ferrari. And it is raining in Sector 2. Night Owl Masterclass yet again potentially here. Neo retiring, and that's going to give them all a free pit stop. I'm not too sure what happened there between Neo and someone else there, but it's going to give the whole grid a free pit stop here. And Night Out is now in a net P1. And there we have just seen Night Owl overtake someone into the pits here. Is that for new, fresh, intermediate tyres? It is going to be. I feel like that was a bad idea. But he's gone for it. Farrell on the hard still. Never mind. He is off of those hards. Smithy is still in P1 here. Any major position changes that we can spot for maybe a double stack? I'm not too sure. Harry in P2. AMS, the Aston Martin driver, in P3 still. P4 is still Viper. P5 is still Snoo. P6 is still Shed. P7 now is Lewis. Okay. He's cooking. The Williams driver is cooking there. Nova in P9. Masterclass of Nova. Cooking a little bit. Okay. Dilb with a penalty. And sat in P10. Not a bad position to be in whatsoever. And the Ferrari boys. 18th and 17th. Of course, we do have Andy Moore still, though. I'm yet to mention him that much, but Andy Moore, P15, up, I believe, 3 positions so far, so not too bad. 3 positions in 8 laps. It's a nice amount. And Andy Moore's now made a move on Pharrell to make it a 4th position in 8 laps. Making a move there under safety car. Fair play to the boy. Alrighty. So it looks very wet now on that track. Okay, the rain has came down and it's came down quite heavy there. Hellfire 5-second time penalty for a collision there with Latifi. I don't think there was a collision there, and if there was, that is very light contact there. That is for sure. Okay, so Hellfire is P17 now with a 5-second time penalty. It'd be interesting to see how some of these drivers can cope in the wet conditions here. Safety car hopefully will be in this lap just to add to the pressure of these drivers. I'd say just add the pressure to these drivers. They're now going to be racing under racing conditions in the wet weather. It's going to be hard for them to stay on track, but hopefully they do. That is going to be... This is our 3rd safety car, I believe. And I don't think we've still... I still think we've yet to complete a full lap of racing. Smithy will lead the pack then going in towards turn 1. Can he get the jump on Parallel Harry? Can Parallel Harry get the jump on Smithy? The rain looks to be easing up in certain areas of the track, but it's still pouring in others. They're away. Can Parallel Harry potentially make a late dive bomb here down in towards turn 1? He won't go for the move. AMS though getting almost forced out here by the AlphaTauri. And the AlphaTauri is now through. AMS down into P5. Or P4 even. Alpha fighting still with the AlphaTauri. The Haas up into P3 as well. A lot of position changes happening down towards the middle of the pack. Nova dropping 3 positions off the restart. This is a close fight here between the Aston Martin, the Haas and the AlphaTauri. A little bit of front wing bashing here and there on each other's cars. AMS wants to try and make this move done to keep up with Parallel Harry and Smithy. Of course, he showed pace in qualifying. He's going to want to make the move very soon here, as that is a lock up there and a little bit of a slide upon exit. But that is the AlphaTauri behind, losing a bit of front wing. Battling hard there with the Mercedes driver. Almost brake checking the Williams behind. And that is going to be a yellow virtual safety car for Hoffers in the wall. No front wing. Hopefully the stewards can get the track, or the marshals can get the track cleared quickly. That is very dangerous there from the AlphaTauri. Picks up a 5-second penalty for it. I think that's just. AMS now retires for some reason. I'm not too sure. And has left the session immediately. I'm not too sure why that has happened. Did he retire in the pits? He did. I'm very unsure why. The car looked to have no damage there, so that is unfortunate. Aston Martin won't be receiving any points here today. That is not good for their chances of the Constructors' Championship. That is for sure. But we are racing once again, of course. The VSC has ended. I should probably stop eating food and focus more on the racing here. That is a lovely move there from the Ferrari that we have just missed out on that Williams there. That was a lovely move down in towards the sharp corner out of the tunnel bridge section. I don't really know what to call that section, to be honest. That was a lovely move though. Dilb closing the gap now. One of the closest drivers on track to making an overtake here. So is Hellfire. Andy Moore now up into P10 as well. Will we see a move here from Hellfire on Andy Moore? Very good defending there from Andy Moore going in towards turn 1. What can Hellfire do? Will he get the better exit, better launch out of that last corner? I don't think he will, but down towards the straight. ERS deployed probably for the Ferrari here. Will the move be made on Andy Moore? I'm yet to think it will be made. Dilb though, closing on that Williams. And that is a crash or collision. So, drop in major positions there. Bunching this pack up once again. Latifi on the back of Papa Verus. Andy Moore getting past the Williams, and then the Williams fighting back. Andy on the Williams now. Trying to defend off from the Ferrari, and the McLaren also trying to attack the Ferrari here. It's going to be wheel to wheel from the McLaren and the Ferrari here. Down towards his next corner. The Ferrari has that inside line. The McLaren goes wide, and that is going to be wing damage for the McLaren there. Into the wall. Not enough room. Misjudged the braking point. Now Andy has a little bit of breathing space from the McLaren, but the Ferrari though is looking fast, it's looking dangerous, it's trying to make a move, trying to force a move at nearly every corner here. Let's ride back on board with Dilb real quick as the Williams of Luz Buffon is trying to make a move. Had the move done for a second, but has had to concede the position. Will the Williams fight back or attempt to fight back? The Williams is trying, but that McLaren has just gapped the Williams there. Night Owl though, now trying to make a move. Looks to have had the move done. Down the inside, a little bit of contact. The Williams saved that incredibly. That is an incredible save there from the Williams driver to not go into that wall. Neo has now left the session. And it's a safety car. Why is it a safety car? You've got a front wing. You've got a front wing. You have one. You have one. Dilb, do you have a front wing? Yeah. Nightowl has one. Williams has one. Haas has one. You have one. You have one. You have one. You have one. I am unsure why the safety cars came out. Maybe it was for Snoo. Apart from that, I can't think why there's a safety car. Unless one of these have wing damage. No. No. Papa Varus. I think that might be a safety car due to the weather increasing. Is it thunderstormy? It well and truly could be. It's Singapore. So we'll be sat behind the safety car now for, I'm unsure how long for. But this could well and truly be Paolo Harry's sign of winning. And Smithy has been disqualified from the session now for ignoring yellow flags. He is ahead of the safety car. And he has now been disqualified. What is happening right now? I'm very unsure as to what is happening. I'm going to figure this out quickly. As I'm very confused, to say the least. Unsure if that's a game glitch or what has happened there, but Smithy has been DSQ'd. He said he went into AI and the AI overtook the safety car to DSQ him. So that is unfortunate to say the least. And I'm not too sure why that has happened. Maybe it's because of the game this year, how it's built. If someone leaves the session, it can sometimes cause lag, and the safety car can lag behind people's cars. It's happened to me in the past at Monza. I believe it was last season of F1 RL. It's happened to me in the past where the safety car has lagged behind, and then you can slow down as much as possible, but the safety car goes at safety car speed. And if you've overtaken it because it's lagged behind you, chances are your car speeds up to 8th gear and starts flooring it. Especially when you're in AI, and it's just not enough time to allow the safety car to re-overtake you. Very unfortunate there from Smithy. I believe when it happened to me, there was points given out, so maybe it'll be the same. I'm unsure, well, to say the least. But speaking of the weather, what is happening right now? it looks like the rain is torrential here and the safety car is in. Surely this is red flag conditions and wait until the track clears up. Surely this is wet tyre conditions. Everyone seems to be on intermediate tyres. Maybe it is intermediate tyre weather. But that track is wet. There are puddles forming. Personally, I would have chanced the wet tyres here. Especially after a safety car for wet weather. But it looks dry there. No, it is raining. I'm not too sure. Paolo Harri leads this race now in towards turn 1, lap 16. 3 safety cars, 1 VSC. Safety cars left, right and centre. Yellow flag towards the back of the pack. That is going to be Nova having a spin there. Andy has chanced the wet tyres. We'll have to keep a good eye on Andy Moore's times now to see if the intermediates are slower or see if they are faster. In these conditions, I would probably opt for the wet tyre compounds. I know that for a fact. So those that haven't boxed have got a very good chance of going onto the wet tyres here. With puddles around the track, aquaplaning is going to be a thing, especially in some of those braking zones. You don't want to aquaplane into a wall, and I think we have a driver that might have done that just then in Nova. Looks to have slammed on the brakes and into that wall. No front wing on that car. Very unfortunate. Night out in P7. Looking to make a move on that Williams driver. Down the outside, around the corner. Can he make it stick? Has made it stick. That is a great move there from Night Owl. Puts Night Owl up in towards P6. Moves that Williams back down into P7. Now the interesting thing is Andy Moore here now. 4.8 seconds slower than, or 4.8 seconds off of the back of Nova here. Can he decrease that gap enough to make it worth his while? Paolo Harri now pits on towards those wet tyres. A couple other drivers now onto the wet tyres. Wet tyres look to be faster, and I think the drivers have now realised that under this torrential downfall or downpour. But will the wet tyres last until the end though? I'm not too sure. 14 laps, they probably should last that long, but Singapore tyre deg's already high here. It'll be interesting. The Red Bull driver closing the gap significantly on the Alpha Tauri in front. Unsure if the Alpha Tauri is even in the session still. But if they are getting eaten alive right now. They are a ghost car. Maybe they're not in the session. I'm not too sure, but I don't think I have that Alpha Tauri on my friends list to even invite them back to the session here. Let's have a quick look for Snoo in here. I don't, sadly. So I can't invite the Alpha Tauri back. Might have disconnected due to weather. Might have just disconnected because they didn't want to bother racing. Not too sure. But Paolo Harri now is 6.1 seconds away from the car ahead. And that gap is now decreased massively as Sol has had a little bit of a mare there. Paolo Harri's going to try and make a move now on this straight here. for a nice double overtake. Of course, one in the pits, one out on track, in towards turn one. Gets the move done. Those wet tyres just have that a little bit extra grip compared to those intermediates here around Singapore. But Night Owl currently leads this Grand Prix. And those tyres, I believe, could easily go to the end here. So could we see Night Owl win round 5 of the Icon Series? Of course, with this Icon Series grid, anyone could win. It isn't just me dominating the grid anymore. Anyone can win in the Icon Series, and it makes some very entertaining racing. But Nova's now got a 5-second penalty for crossing the pit lane line now. That is not going to be good for the Alpine driver. So we have one Alpine driver doing amazing up in P1, and we have another Alpine driver not doing so amazing down in P15. Hellfire now sits pretty in P3, but does need to make a pit stop. Will it be for those wet tyres? Or will it be for another set of inters? I'm not too sure when it comes to Hellfire. He can be fast, he can be slow. Overall, solid driver. Deserves to be on this grid. And so far is en route for a podium finish. Currently sat in P3. It'll be interesting to see when the inter-runners of Pharrell and Hellfire decide to make the pit stop. Will it be as early as lap 22? Will they go to the ends? I'm not too sure. Can they do 21 laps on intermediate tyres? I don't know. I really don't know. Singapore in the rain is a track that I haven't raced this year. I don't think so anyway. Or if I have, I didn't remember the strategy that well. Viper has now retired from the session though, and that does not look good. Where that car is placed, did he get a little shunt to that rear end? Is that Viper leaving the league? I hope to say he won't. He did say if someone did take him out this race, he would be leaving because he has had some very unfortunate luck. But I'm hoping that he won't leave because he is a brilliant driver, great driver, good pace. Just very unfortunate when it comes to the incidents. I mean, we all go through that phase in F1 RL. I mean, I'm pretty sure I won, I think 5, 6 in a row. And then went on a 5 DNF streak. It happens to everyone sometimes. You just gotta power on through it. And you never know what's on the other side. It could be greatness. But speaking of greatness here, Parallel Harry on the wet tyres is now closed the gap. Has now closed the gap on Papa Varuz. Champions aren't made overnight. They're crafted over decades. I think that's the saying. I'm not too sure. It'd be great to see Viper racing more around here, because eventually he will stop getting taken out. And that is a nice double overtake there from Paolo Harry. The Williams braking quite deep. And that is a move made on Papa Varuz as well. DZ Ali picking up a 3-second time penalty. Of course, DZ Ali now is trying to get past Sol. On the better tyres here. Locking up those front tyres a lot there, going in towards turn 1. Of course, those that have seen F1 24 know about locking up next year. It's going to be very important not to lock up. Tyre degradation increases a lot when you lock up on next year's game, as we've been told from patch notes and files and the trailer here today. So drivers this year, they might be able to lock up and not lose that much, and maybe even benefit at times. But when it comes to next year's game, it's going to be very hard for those drivers that remain on locking up almost into every corner, like myself. I always race with a low brake bias, so I can purposely lock up into those corners, brake later than anyone else on track, and get the position made. But here's a nice battle between Latifi and Hellfire. Latifi on the 5-lap newer intermediate tyres here, as we now approach 8 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. Or at least close to it, hopefully. I think so. I'm not too sure. Here's a move though, down the inside, the Ferrari stays. Keeps the position for now. I think it's a matter of when, not how. Does Latifi get past? Or, never mind, I think it's a matter of how, not when. Is it down the insides? Is it around the outsides? Is it a dive bomb into a corner? I'm not too sure. But the Ferrari's tyres just haven't quite got the grip anymore to compete with those on the McLarens. 5-lap tyre difference in tyre age. It's a lot. And you're seeing the effects of it out on track now. But of course, all of this battling here between the McLaren and the Ferrari is only going to help that man behind on those fresh, wet tyres. 5 laps old now, coming to the 6th lap. The tyres are still fresh on Paolo Harry's car. And they will be hot, ready, and want to fight for positions here against the intermediate tyres, especially when the intermediate tyres are double, if not even triple, their age of the wets. You can see that in the distance. Only 4 seconds behind now, the Red Bull sits. And the Ferrari is defending magnificently here against that McLaren. Hellfire is racing as if he's a prime Fernando Alonso. Incredible driving so far. Latifi, of course, needs to get past to try and gain a little bit more of a gap on Paolo Harry here. But I think the track is actually drying out a little bit. So I think the wet tyres aren't as effective as what they once were here in Singapore. The track looks to be drying up a little bit. It might still be raining. The rain has eased a little bit and the track is drying. And I think Paolo Harry knows that. In towards the pits he goes. Will it be for the intermediates or will it be straight on to some soft tyres? It's going to be the soft tyres. We are going to see a soft stint here from Paolo Harry. I still think it's a bit too early to go onto the softs. But he's gone onto the softs and now I'm questioning whether my decision would have been the correct decision if I stayed out on those wets for another 2-3 laps. That's going to be Shed now retiring as well. That is going to be our 7th retiree this Grand Prix. So we are now down to 13 races left in this Grand Prix. That is Shed in the wall and finished with his race here today. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Hopefully the marshals can get that car out away from track. And I think they have. So that is not too bad. Make sure it's not a hazard for the rest of the drivers. But because of that, I think we have reached our maximum safety cars of the session here, so there won't be no more safety cars until the end. So assuming there isn't any safety cars and assuming 11 lap old intermediate tyres will last until the end here, we will see a winner between Dilb and Night Owl, I believe. Diziali in the wall again. Paolo Harry on the back of Andy Moore here. Andy Moore in P9. Andy Moore could even potentially pick up an extra position here on DZ Ali if penalties are to come into play. And if Andy Moore can stay within those time penalties of DZ Ali. But I think we might see Night Owl win a race here in Singapore. Down the inside, the Haas goes defending the position nicely. Andy Moore now makes a move on DZ Ali. Brilliant move there from Andy Moore. Puts him up into P8 now. That was a brilliant move there from Andy Moore. Let's ride on board with the front two though. They are the closest two drivers out on track. Pharrell and Papaveruz also very close out on track, but I think Papaveruz just about has the edge on Pharrell there. But in Sector 1, I don't see any rain. The track is dry in Sector 1, which makes me think Parallel Harry, his car's going to come into play soon. His speed is going to come into play. And potentially, he could fix a race that hasn't gone his way so far. Andy Moore into the pits, DZ Ali into the pits, both for the soft tyres, I believe. DZ Ali, of course, serving a time penalty while inside of the pits. Andy Moore is out ahead of DZ Ali. Andy Moore down in 8th position so far. That is going to be yellow flag in Sector 2. It's not going to be Dilb. It is going to... Well, no, it is for Dilb. Dilb has dropped off the pace a little bit there. And has no front wing. The only person to contest Night Owl right now is Night Owl himself. Arguably should go for a pit stop here. Won't lose out on that much time. And will have faster tyres until the end. But then again, he's 8 seconds clear of Dilb, who's now in the pits. And he's going to be about 14 seconds clear of Hellfire. Hellfire has done 19 laps on those intermediate tyres. Night Owl, of course, doesn't need to do that many. That is a yellow flag, and that is Unknown Soul in the barrier, I think. But he has survived. And DRS is now available. That is always a good sign that the track is dry. Unknown Soul, though. Now into the pits. Parallel Harry. 2-lap old soft tyres. Now entering the 3rd lap. Purple Sector 3. Can he make this race back up? I'm unsure. Pharrell just off the back of Parallel Harry on the loose soft tyres. Can he get anywhere near Parallel Harry and maybe even overtake him? We'll ride them board for a few laps to see if he does. Diziani, another 3-second time penalty. Night Owl is now 32 seconds ahead. Never mind, he's 35 seconds ahead of the nearest soft runner out on track. And it is going to be Night Owl into the pits here. He's going to come out ahead of Papa Varuz, I believe. And it will be Hellfire into the pits as well. And he is miles ahead of Papa Varuz here. And might actually lap Lewis Buffin within the first lap of coming out of the pits. Nova 3-second time penalty for speed, multiple warnings, track limits that is. I thought it was going to be another speeding in the pit lane. Parallel Harry sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Fastest lap points will be going to the Red Bull driver. But it's going to be limbs here for Night Owl. Once he crosses that line as a race winner in the Icon Series. I'm unsure if Night Owl has won before in the Icon Series. I have to be honest. Haven't really been keeping up on the Icon Series. But Night Owl. Two laps remain for Night Owl here. Once he finishes this one. And he'll be crowned a race winner here in Singapore. Round 5 of the Icon Series. Just needs to bring it home. Make no mistake. And he'll be a race winner. Purple Sector 3 in that last lap as well. Dilb goes fastest lap with a 35.267. Currently holds the fastest lap points. Is Night Owl going to try and beat him to that? Latifi now holds it. Paolo Harry now holds it. Pharrell now holds it. The fastest lap is changing hands more than my ex-girlfriend's. Ouch. If you don't get it, she got passed around. Anyway. 2 laps now remain for Night Owl here. Yellow flag in Sector 2. That is, as the crowd cheers, Lewis Buffin is in the wall. He's done a George Russell. Purple Sector 2 here for Night Owl. Around the penultimate corner. That is a yellow flag there between 2 drivers. That's Andy Moore and Dizzy Ali out the session. I'm not actually sure what has happened there. But Andy was on for some really good points. And that's a fast lap from Night Owl. A 132.215. Now surely the fastest lap points are going home with Night Owl here today. Nova is going to pick up points. And not only points, it's going to be good points under the new point format. That is going to be 10 drivers finished so far. And Night Owl is nowhere to be touched. He's nowhere to be seen. 10 seconds away from Dilb in the McLaren. 23 seconds away from Latifi in the McLaren. It's been incredible racing here from Night Owl all day today. Consistency. To not get a penalty. To have little to no warnings, if not no warnings. Night Owl in the Alpine. He was competitive in Season 4 of F1 RL. Got selected to compete in the Icon Series. Tier 2 champion in Season 3. And here he is. Starting the final lap of the Singapore Grand Prix. Let's get some cinematics of this moment. He's seen it all. He's won the lots. It's Night Owl. And he's never going to stop. Around the penultimate corner. Around the final corner in Singapore. To cross the line with a dominant performance. Night Owl is the race winner. In round 5 of the Icon Series. He's seen it all. He's won the lot. He's Night Owl and he's never going to stop. Incredible drive there from Night Owl today. Dilb comes home P2. Latifi comes home in P3. It's a McLaren double at the podium. Hellfire in P4. Pharrell P5. Paolo Harry P6. Papaveruz P7. Soul P8. Nova P9. Snoo P10. That's going to be our final standings for Singapore here today. Night Owl seen it all, he's won the lot. And what a brilliant drive he has had today. Soul as well. He got that top 10 finish that I was hoping he would get. I haven't seen this man race for a while. But what a driver he is. What a driver he is. That is going to be our final finishing order though. Paolo Harry P6. Nova P9. Snoo P10. Soul P8. Latifi P3. Hellfire P4. Pharrell P5. Great drive from him. And that is going to be the end for round 5. Driver of the day goes to Latifi. Personally, I agree. Latifi had a good race. But here is going to be the podium. Podium celebrations, Night Out on top. As they spray the invisible champagne. For some reason it's invisible, not too sure. But what a race it has been in Singapore. Maxed out safety cars, maxed out virtual safety cars. Weather changes left and right. And here will be our final finishing order. Night Owl in first place. Joining him on the podium, Dilb and Latifi in 2 and 3. Hellfire in P4, Pharrell P5, Paolo Harry P6, Papaveruz P7, Unknown Soul in P8, Nova P9, Snoo P10, Andy Moore P11, Dizzy Ali P12, Lewis Buffin P13, Logan Birch, Shed Racer Newbie in P14, Viper in P15, Hoffers P16, AMS the Aston Martin driver in P17, TTLR Neo in P18, Pencil in P19, and P20 is Smithy. Thank you all for joining me here in today's race. I've been Willis Manu, the 3-time F1 RL champion. Tune in next week to see round 6 of the Icon Series. Bye.